Hi guys, and welcome to the Yoga Doc. I'm Dr. Leah Deutsch, founder of the Yoga Doc, and this class is an e-sequence designed to help you prepare your body for birth. It's actually a two-part sequence, so this first part will be your ease part of this preparation for birth sequence. It's a nice 15-minute warm-up, and you can practice this as a standalone class, or you can tag this onto the beginning of the more energetic flow sequence to make a nice long practice. As with all of these classes, they can be done at any point during your pregnancy, but as mentioned, this is specifically designed for women from around 36-37 weeks of pregnancy as you start to move towards your due date to help align your baby for birth and also to help your cervix become a little bit more ripened, creating a more downward pressure of your baby to help your body and your baby get ready for the birthing process. As with all of these classes, please listen to your body. If something feels painful or uncomfortable or not right, then do stop. This is your body and your practice, so it's important that you practice within your own limitations. So in terms of props for today's class, all you want to have handy is a couple of blocks. Now, as with always with these classes, you don't need specific props, so a book or a cushion will work just as well. Let's get started. So we're going to start class today in our child's pose, so allowing your baby to have that space to sit down. So sit back on your heels with your knees nice and wide and toes touching. You can either use one of your blocks or cushions to rest your head on to create a little bit more support, or alternatively reach your hands out in front of you and allow your head to gently fall to the floor. Take a few moments here to make sure you're comfortable. There are various props that you can give to support yourself here. So you can use maybe a cushion between the space between the thighs and the calves if this feels a little bit more supportive. And again, that block underneath your head can also create a little bit more openness and support, especially if you're further along in your pregnancy and there's a little bit less space. Reach your hands out in front of you and start to take some nice deep breath. Taking a big inhale through the nose and sighing out through the mouth. And take another deep breath like this. As you breathe in, find expansion through the side of the rib cage into the lower back. Exhaling, maybe sighing out, creating some sound here. And taking another big inhale. And start to settle the breath as you breathe in and out through the nose now. And breathing deeply here. And find a connection with the floor beneath you. And allow the day's thoughts and worries just to drift to the side here and see if you can focus in solely to your breath and to the movement of the breath within your body. Finding that expansion between each rib cage through the side body. And as you exhale, feeling the softening of your bum towards your heels. And taking another deep inhale, and find that breath to moving around to the back of the body, into the back of the rib cage, into the spine. Finding that full 360-degree expansion through the rib cage as you breathe in, and that softening as you exhale. Starting to push into the hands now as you push your way up into a tabletop pose. Make sure that your wrists are directly aligned underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And hug your baby in towards your spine. Knees are hip width apart and toes are soft on the mat. Start to take some breaths as you move through some cat-cows, allowing your inhale to glide your chest forward and your belly to drop. As you exhale, your tailbone tucks under and round through the spine as you drop your head. Take another inhale, gliding the chest forward. Shoulders are away from the ears and find an expansion through the rib cage at the front of the body. Exhaling, tailbone rounds, dropping the head and rounding up through the spine. Taking another one here, deeply inhaling and then exhaling, taking each vertebra at a time as you round through the spine, pushing into the hands, finding connection with the floor. And taking one final one as you inhale, draw shoulders away from ears and exhaling around and through the spine. As you come back to your neutral spine now, we're walking the hands out in preparation for Anahatasana, open heart pose. This can be a very nice opening on the shoulders, but if your shoulders are tight, just come forward a little way. So the idea here is to keep the hips above the knees, chest walks forward, And allow the softening of the chest to come down towards the floor. You can glide the chin forward if you have no neck issues, or alternatively tuck the chin in and rest the forehead on the floor. And take 3 deep breaths here. As you open through the chest, releasing down maybe a little further with the exhale. And taking another deep breath here. Finding expansion through the chest and a softening through the shoulders and chest as you exhale. And taking one final breath. And big inhale and finding expansion, allowing your baby to hang down. And exhaling, releasing. And then starting to walk the hands back up towards your tabletop once more. And tucking the toes under and shift the weight back towards the heels. And then start to push through the toes as you lift the hips towards the sky, coming into your downward facing dog now. So bend the knees really strongly here as you almost sit back on the heels. Push through the hands. Imagine there's a belt around your hips lifting you up towards the sky, so the weight is shifted back towards the heels. Feet are hip width or wider. Palms are pushing down into the floor and fingertips are spread nice and wide like starfish. Begin to walk out one heel, extending the left heel down to the floor and bending the right knee, and then switching legs so the left knee bends, right heel stretches down to the floor, and pedaling through each heel alternatively to stretch out each hamstring. As you come now to a neutral point, so allow the heels to soften. You don't need to get them all the way there. Bend the knees as much as you need to if that helps. And taking a nice deep inhale, draw your baby towards your spine. As you exhale, lift your right leg up towards the sky and bend the knee here. So allow the knee to draw up towards the ceiling. And so you create a nice stretch through the front of that right hip into the hip crease. Take another inhale here. Finding that stretch and expansion. As you exhale, extending the leg back and then stepping the right foot behind the right wrist. You may need to support yourself with the little hand to get it there. Inhaling, take a big sweep of the arms up as you come up into a low lunge. So opening through the chest here, make sure your knee is above the ankle on that right leg so that you're stretching down but not putting too much pressure into that hip crease. Now opening through the chest as you inhale, imagine there's a string attached to your sternum gliding you forward, and imagine you're carrying a big beach ball with your hands. Exhaling, placing the hands back down to frame the foot, and then heel toe the right foot to the side. So now you can use your blocks. So if you've only got one block, then just placing it in the center of your mat, resting both hands on it. And this is the same time that you'd use that book or cushion if that's what you have. If you happen to have two, that's brilliant. You can place both hands, keeping them wide to the mat here, and then just allow yourself to start to sink into that left thigh, so finding that stretch and opening through the front of the thigh into the psoas muscle. If you've got pelvic girdle pain here, this is one that wouldn't really be for you, so just staying in that upright lunge, keeping yourself supported in a more boxy lunge here. So now either staying with whichever variation works for you, or if you want to intensify the stretch a little bit more, you can come down to a lounge lizard, so resting the forearms on the floor here, getting rid of your blocks. And then you're just extending into that front right thigh. So resting down, allowing the left leg to hang behind. So being cautious here not to collapse into that left hip, create a little bit of support for yourself and just breathe deep. And starting to walk the hands up underneath the shoulders and then just rocking onto the little toe side of that right foot so that you can extend that stretch a little bit more out, feeling the outer edge stretch on that right thigh. Push into the left hand so that you create a little bit of a lift, and then if you want to extend even further, reaching the right hand out behind you. Fingertips are pointing towards the wall behind you and palm is pointing towards the right side of the room. Take another deep breath here. This is a nice open twist here, as well as a stretch through the psoas. Now either staying here or whichever variation works for you. If you want to extend even further, you might want to place a blanket underneath the left knee and then start to bend that left knee, maybe reaching back a little further to see if you can grab that left foot. Now this is quite a strong one, so just really working what works for you, making sure that you're not pushing yourself or overextending too much. Carefully releasing that left foot and heel toeing the right foot back to that central point once again. Now placing the right hand on the outside edge of that right foot and coming into another nice open twist here. So low lunge, pressing down into that right hand and reaching up to the sky with the left hand. So breathing deeply here, and then as you exhale, placing the left hand down towards the floor, right foot steps back to meet the left and coming into a baby vinyasa. So slight push up here on the knees, and then start to walk the hands back. So fingertips point towards the toes behind you, push into the hands and lift the hips up towards the sky. Exhale, bum comes down towards the heels and walk the hands forward to the front of the mat. Tuck the toes under, push into the hands, bend the knees as you guide the hips up towards your downward facing dog. Kick that left leg up this time, so bend at the knee once again, so you're stretching through the front thigh. So that left heel is drawing over towards the right side of the mat, and you're finding that stretch through the front thigh. See if you can push evenly into both hands here and maybe soften that right heel towards the mat a little bit more here. Start to extend that leg back again, and then exhaling, stepping the left foot behind the left wrist. Inhaling, opening up, coming into that more boxy lunge so that the right hip is over the knee and the left knee is over the left ankle. Reach up with your fingertips, opening up through the chest, finding that imaginary beach ball that you're drawing back behind you, creating space and expansion through the rib cage. Push into the left foot and lift that right hip up so that your hips are nice and level here. Now either staying here into that boxy lunge or coming down into that lizard lunge more, so heel toeing the left foot out to the side of the mat and releasing that right hip down to the floor a little bit more. Using your props as necessary, so either using one or two blocks underneath you, or alternatively your hands if you haven't got any blocks or props or you don't need them. And just taking a couple of breaths here just to soften in and start to stretch through that left hamstring and into that right psoas muscle at the front of the thigh. And breathing deeply, expanding through the chest, shoulders soften away from the ears, and then as you exhale, coming into the next variation or staying where you are, just listening to your body as always. So if you're coming down, allowing the forearms to rest on the floor, really push into that left foot a little bit more so that you start to lift through the thigh. And then that right hip can just really release down towards the floor a little bit more. Allow the neck to be nice and soft here. Try to avoid holding tension through the head and into the shoulders. And just breathe into this. Notice that when you soften the breath and you don't hold the breath tightly, everything starts to release and soften a little bit more. Start to push your way back into the hands. And then once again, rock out onto the left outer edge of that left foot. Push into the thigh a little bit more to intensify that stretch. Again, pelvic girdle pain, this may not feel good. It may really exacerbate it. So just staying at the step that feels more comfortable for you. And breathing here and pushing into that right hand to create space and lift through the upper body. Maybe extending that left arm back towards the back of the mat. So left hand splays nice and wide here and the palm is facing the left wall. And then either staying here or maybe if you want to extend a little bit more, bending that right knee. Again, you may want some cushioning like a blanket or a cushion under that knee. And reaching back and holding the little toe side of that right foot. And just using that counter traction between foot pulling and hand pulling here so that you create a gentle stretch in the knee into the thigh and through into the shoulder. So then releasing with care and placing the hands down to the floor to support yourself. Heel toeing the foot back to center and then push into both hands. Left hand comes to the outside edge of the left foot and right hand reaches up, coming into this nice low seated twist. And create support for yourself by pushing into the left hand and really lift and reach up through the right fingertips, creating expansion through the front of the chest here. And breathing into this and then exhaling, hand comes to the floor. Allow the left foot to come back to the right. Coming into your baby vinyasa, so a little gentle push up with the knees to the floor, maybe trying a tricep push up this time. And bringing the hands back to the back of the mat, fingertips point towards toes, push into the hands as you open and expand through the chest. Bum towards the heels and then just start to walk the hands forward. Come to a nice wide leg child's pose here. So just resting back in your child's pose. Allow the head to soften and just breathe still here, finding that expansion in the breath that we created at the beginning of class. And from here you can either continue into part 2 of your flow class knowing that you've warmed up nicely. Alternatively, just taking a nice restful shavasana either in your own time or using one of the guided videos. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed the class, and if you found it helpful then do comment below. I love to hear your stories. If you want notifications about any new videos then don't forget to subscribe to my channel.